Patsy Hazelwood has been misrepresenting her voting record regarding sanctuary cities to GOP women. Several states have blocked the Biden administration's Title IX changes, and the Vanderbilt Multicultural Council has rejected a pro-Israel student group. All of these stories and more on today's Big Seven. Welcome back to the show. My name is Adelia Kirchner. I'm one of the writers here at the Tennessee Conservative, and today I'm going to be filling in for Brandon Lewis. But before we get into all of these hot button news stories, be sure to subscribe to our free daily e-newsletter. Just text news to 423-205-5600. That's 423-205-5600. You can also follow us on the social media platforms where we have not yet been shadow banned. That includes X, formerly known as Twitter, Gab, Gitter, Truth, Rumble, and MeWe. All right. First story of the day is Biden administration's Title IX new gender rule blocked in Tennessee and 5 more states. U.S. District Judge Danny Reeves blocked the implementation of changes to Title IX meant to include gender identity, along with 1972 education amendments that protect against discrimination based on one's sex in schools and colleges. The changes were found by Reeves to be unlawful. An executive order issued by Joe Biden paved the way for the Department of Education to amend Title IX to include gay and gender-confused people. Finalized this year, the expansion of Title IX would make educators responsible for policing student speech and behavior beyond school campuses and onto the internet, which goes against First Amendment rights. There's been plenty of First Amendment cases arguing that because a student said something or did something, as long as it's not on a school campus, okay, even if they're posting to social media, but they're posting not on the school campus, then it falls within their First Amendment rights, their free speech, okay? Reeves said redefining sex to include gender identity would turn Title IX on its head. Intended to make education programs or activities receiving federal funds fair to both males and females, Title IX bars discrimination on the basis of sex. First Amendment rights of educators would also be threatened under the new changes, as it would lead to compelled speech with regard to preferred pronouns of students confused about their gender. We know how well that's going in places like Canada. Let's not do that. On Thursday, this rule was blocked by a federal judge in Louisiana on behalf of Idaho, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Montana. There are lawsuits by 16 other states still pending. In his memorandum and opinion, Reeves affirmed that there are only 2 sexes and said that the DOE acted in a way that was arbitrary and capricious, and exceeded their statutory authority in trying to make the new rules regarding sexual orientation and gender identity. A DOE spokesperson has said that Reeves's ruling is being reviewed while standing by the rule changes. Our next story is Tractor Convoy protest planned in response to scheme turning Tennessee farmland into industrial park. A tractor convoy and protest will take place in Wilson County, with the county courthouse as the final destination on Friday morning. All Tennesseans are invited to participate. The group will meet at the Agricultural Center in Lebanon with tractors at 8:30 a.m. From there, the Wilson County Sheriff will provide an escort to the town square, ending at the courthouse. Protesters plan to attend the county's scheduled Planning Commission meeting at 10 a.m. at the courthouse in Lebanon, Tennessee, on June 21st. A group called No Industrial Park is organizing the event to protest the plans of an international development company based out of Texas to take 1,400 acres of farmland and turn it into an industrial park. Ross Perot Jr., who is the son of Ross Perot Sr., the late billionaire and 2-time U.S. presidential third-party candidate in the 90s, is Hillwood's chairman. Now Hillwood has submitted plans for what would be the largest industrial complex ever built in Wilson County on land that is surrounded by working farms. Because the land in question is currently zoned as agricultural, the plan requires an amendment to the land use plan and a formal property rezoning request. In January, Hillwood reached out to the surrounding community. No Industrial Park spokesman Michael Swope, that's a cool last name, I like that, talked to the Tennessee Conservative and recalled, they said, "If you don't want us here, we will leave." Well, we told them we didn't want them here, but they didn't leave. Shocker. The group says that once the industrial zoning genie is out of the bottle, there will be no stopping it, and serene rural towns like Watertown, Alexandria, and Carthage will be destroyed. Okay, in a bit of a similar vein, we have Our next story, which is Don't California My Tennessee, the cost of living crisis in Tennessee continues. It's no secret that in the last several years, residents of red states like Tennessee have seen a major increase of transplants from blue states like New York and California. Plenty of these blue state refugees have witnessed what left-wing policies did to their former home state and are passionate about keeping Tennessee a red state. But there are also plenty who simply moved to the state due to the lower cost of living. Some longtime residents of Sumner County have gone as far as saying that they live in hell now, with local traffic getting worse and increasingly more land being snatched up by greedy developers. Between 2020 and 2022, Sumner County residents saw their economy grow 8.5% annually, but technical economic growth doesn't mean much to your everyday Tennessean when properties in Gallatin that sold for around $100,000 in 2018, for example, are now going for closer to $380,000, with the median price of a single-family home in Sumner County currently at $472,000. This major spike in cost of living has left many of the county's workers unable to afford the housing that they could afford just a few years ago. Over 20,000 people from California moved to Sumner County in 2022 alone. This influx reportedly required the annexation of more land to build more and more housing for newcomers. Sumner County lost 16,000 acres of farmland between 2011 and 2022. For many blue state transplants, the high cost of living in a red state is still preferable to the even higher cost of living in a blue state. Some newcomers might not even realize the drastic difference in cost of living that Tennessee has witnessed over the last several years. Still, between rising home prices and major property tax increases, this mass migration of sorts has inevitably impacted cost of living and seems to have put a strain on slow Southern living. And I'm sure that Sumner County is not the only place in Tennessee expressing such sentiments. Yeah. Our next story is Patsy Hazelwood misrepresents her voting record about sanctuary cities to GOP women. Oh boy. Okay, during a recent meeting of Republican women in Hamilton County, incumbent Representative Patsy Hazelwood addressed her voting record, calling out what she called misinformation about her votes that have been made public during this campaign season. One of the bills called out by Hazelwood was a bill regarding the banning of so-called sanctuary cities in Tennessee. Hazelwood said, "There's a website, you might have heard about it, and it says that House Bill 2315 that I did a bad thing and voted for sanctuary cities." Hazelwood went on to say, "This bill has nothing to do with sanctuary cities, it has something to do with juvenile crime." Why she would not fact check this before saying this in front of a whole group of people, I don't know. But anyways, this continues and says, from the 2018 legislative session, House Bill 2315 prohibits state and local governmental entities and officials from adopting sanctuary policies and enacts other related provisions. The Tennessee law on the books, Public Chapter Number 7, resulting from the passage of HB 2315, closely matches the original bill language put forth by the bill sponsors and has nothing to do with juvenile crime. Hazelwood did in fact vote against passage of HB 2315 at every opportunity. She requested to be counted as voting no on the bill in the House Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee. She then repeated her request to be recorded as voting no in the full House Finance, Ways and Means Committee. And finally, Hazelwood voted no on HB 2315 on the House floor in the final vote. Hazelwood said that the reports of her voting records are misinformation, but all votes that have been reported on come directly from the Tennessee General Assembly website. Hazelwood expressed to the GOP women that illegal immigration is not a state-level problem, and that all responsibility falls at the federal level. She said if anyone stands up here and says that state and local government can fix that illegal immigration problem, they're just wrong, uninformed, whatever. Is that who we want to vote for, guys? Is that who we're going to vote for this year? Okay.
Oh, good grief. This is the kind of crap we got going on in Tennessee. Guys, do go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that support button. Help us rebuild this website bigger and better than ever. Mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. We need your support. We can't do it without you. We don't take corporate money. We don't take campaign ads and then write editorials that are positive for terrible candidates. We won't do that. We tell you the truth. And the only way we can keep doing it is if folks like you support us. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. And we're going to have some new swag coming up soon. I think you're going to like it. It's been cooking up. More to follow. Next story.
All right, next story is Tennessee Lieutenant Governor supports removal of Shelby County District Attorney. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally issued a statement on Monday saying he wholeheartedly supports efforts by Republican State Senator Brent Taylor to dismiss District Attorney General Steve Mulroy from office for failing to properly prosecute convicted felons in possession of a firearm. McNally says Mulroy's explicit refusal to prosecute criminals with guns is inexcusable and unconstitutional. While district attorneys have prosecutorial discretion, that discretion is not a license to override or subvert the law of the land. DA Mulroy's record of refusal to prosecute laws he does not personally care for is long-standing and clear. I believe it is time for him to go. Senator Taylor acknowledged that district attorneys general have prosecutorial discretion, but contended that state law prohibits felons from possessing weapons. He maintains that the district attorney has abused his prosecutorial discretion. He's attempting to enforce and prosecute the law based on how he wishes it were written, not how it's actually written, Taylor said. District attorneys are obligated to enforce the law the legislature enacts. In a recent interview with the Tennessee Conservative, Senator Taylor spoke about how the Biden Department of Justice recently made a deal with Mulroy to circumvent the enforcement of another Tennessee law. The heightened charges for HIV-infected prostitutes who knowingly ply their trade, also known as aggravated prostitution, which is a Class C felony in the state. Senator Taylor explained that while this is all going down in Shelby County, this is a problem that affects every Tennessean. Story number 6. Okay, we're getting down to the last few, y'all. This one is Vanderbilt Multicultural Council rejects pro-Israel student group. The Vanderbilt Multicultural Leadership Council denied a pro-Israel student group a spot in its organization back in March, but some members just recently opened up to the student paper about their reasons for voting nay. Students supporting Israel, or SSI, was rejected by the Vandy MLC, but groups that were accepted included the Vanderbilt Iranian Student Association and Vanderbilt Pride Serve. According to its constitution, the MLC is an umbrella organization of Vanderbilt's social justice, identity-based, and multicultural student organizations. Various MLC members admitted that the denial of SSI's membership was due to it being antithetical to the Palestinian cause. An executive board member of the Association of Latin American Students was particularly outspoken against SSI, saying the group doesn't have a culture or an identity because it supports a nation-state built on the ideology of political Zionism. Students supporting Israel President Maya Rabin called the vote against her group blatant anti-Semitism and political. Referring to Zionism as a Jewish value, Rabin said that the MLC's rejection of Vanderbilt SSI wrongly obstructs Jewish students from conversations about diversity in multicultural spaces due to their religion. She stated that this alleged discrimination contradicts the MLC's mission. All right, last story of the day, you guys. We have dimming electric vehicle market may delay start of full production at Ford's new West Tennessee plant. Slowing demand for Ford's F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck is delaying the start of full production at the company's new West Tennessee factory and pushing vehicle deliveries to dealers until early 2026. When Ford made the Blue Oval City announcement in 2021, they said it would start production in 2025. Shocker. There's slowing demand for Ford's F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck. Has Ford looked at their demographic for who purchases Ford pickup trucks? I'm just wondering. Okay, I don't know what their demographic actually is. I know a lot of people own Fords, but I'm just wondering. Like, was anybody really interested in a Lightning electric F-150? Just curious. Just curious. Can we do a poll? Let me know in the comments if you would have been interested in an electric pickup truck from Ford. Anyways, Clay Bright, chairman of the state's mega site authority, said this week that Ford's timeframe slid some and added that we really won't know if they're serious until they start hiring their staff that has to operate the facilities. Earlier this year, Ford announced the demand for electric vehicles had softened, forcing it to change some of its plans. 3 years ago, Tennessee lawmakers overwhelmingly approved nearly $1 billion in taxpayer funding to help fund the $5.6 billion project, as Ford promised to create 5,800 jobs. Corporate welfare at its finest, folks. Okay, that's all I've got for y'all today. But if you want to read the full and complete rundown on any or all of our Big 7 stories of the week, make sure to check out the links in the description or head straight over to TennesseeConservativeNews.com. If you like what we're doing and want us to keep it up, please consider donating to support the cause. All you have to do is, again, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com and hit that red support button. While you're on our website, you can also hit that green subscribe button to subscribe to our free weekday newsletter. That way, you get a nice little email every weekday that fills you in on all our big news stories of the day, so you can be an informed conservative Tennessean. Also, don't forget to check out the Tennessee Conservative Podcast on your favorite platform and leave us a 5-star review. We would appreciate it so much. As always, your listenership is appreciated, your readership is appreciated, and we will be back next week with another Big 7.